Welcome to another Practice Strokes. If you wanted to learn more about one-stroke painting, my Practice Strokes help you from learning how to use tools that I use to different brushes and what each brush strokes and the key to one-stroke painting. So if you have just come across this, learning to paint some leaves with different brushes, make sure that you go back in the beginning, the Practice Strokes, and you'll see all the tools, how to use different mediums, and just how to paint on glass and all kinds of surfaces. All right, so this is floating medium, and with one-stroke painting, we use a lot of floating medium instead of water, and that's what keeps our paints really vivid and not washed out, okay, and muddy. So muddy is the key word that you don't want. All right, make sure that you subscribe if you haven't, if you like what you're learning today, and if you want to see more, please join our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is Donna Dewberry's official one stroke group. And you can see all my memberships and all about one stroke painting right here under About Donna. Okay. This is one stroke painting. We're on art paper today. I'm using my folk art one stroke Donna Dewberry brushes. And I'm going to work with you on some leaves with different brushes. Okay. So I'm going to come in here. I've done this before, but this is just a different look at doing some leaves. And I always kind of evolve and do better and change a little bit. So I just want you to see that I'm going to put the paint next to each other that I'm using. But sometimes, say, if I want to use some blue over here with the green, I can pick that up and then work that in. Okay. So it's not always the one right next to you. You might have to go get some other uh, dips of other color here. Okay, now that's multi-dipping. You see that? Instead of just double loading, I've got blue peacock, wicker white, citrus green, and sap green. So just kind of play with it. All right. Now, so I'm going to work it back and forth, pushing hard. And I need you to do that fast, not because I want you to paint fast, but because I want to get it up into the bristles. So the bristles have to have paint inside of them. If you're using water or not a thick paint, you see how nice and thick this paint is? Many people ask me if it's oils, and I go, no, 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 it's acrylic. But what's great about the multi-surface paint is it has a sealer in it, so I can paint on glass, metal, ceramic, indoor, outdoor, and canvas and art paper. Okay, so I want you to see that I'm going to slide and stand up with all that color on it. Okay, and then I take the chisel of the brush to pull the stem into it. All right, so I can go just like this. Here's a line, and I'm going to there. So if I start here, I put pressure and then I stand up to the point. Now my brushes are made for one stroke painting so that you can take and put pressure. Look over here. This is, if people stand up here and do it, they're not going to get the blending. All right, so I'm going to put something else under here to make this a little bit higher so we don't have such a glare. There we go. All right, so if I come here and I push too far, then it doesn't do what I want it to do. All right, so we don't want to do those. All right, so what I want you to do is to be half sprung. So here's chisel, here's too much. Half sprung is between there and down is right there. Oops, is right here, halfway down. And so when I start, I can go 1, 2, 3, but I'm in the palette, so you don't have to do that. All right, so let me show you. I can pick up the color. I can go like that to see if I'm liking the color I'm getting. All right, I can dip into medium because I'm on paper. All right, and so I can go like that. And see, that's not blending too well because it looks like there's a line in it. So if you come back here and you go back and forth, and then you come here with the right pressure, you have a blend from dark to light. And then you come back and you pull your stem part way in. Okay. Now, when you're pulling the stem, you're not just going like that. You're lifting the front and just dragging the back. Now, when people say, what color goes first, which one's leading, which one's up, which one's down. I want you to see that I can do a leaf that's that way, or I can turn the brush and do a leaf that's that way. Okay, and then I can pull this down. All right, so it's just however way the direction you want the dark or the light. All right, so this I want to tell you a little thing real quick before we go further. I'm not doing just a plain T. I'm doing a crooked T. All right, and this is kind of like a pattern. I use these little lines to help you know where to start your stroke. So if you were here, we used to say turn slightly, then slide, and then stand up. And then lots of people would have a mess when they're doing this, okay? But what happened is that we put the stem and it looked like there's a flat edge there, which made lots of people unhappy. All right, so I'm going to go back and get some paint and then medium. So I dip straight into medium, but only go on the medium, guys, every second, third stroke. Don't go on the medium every stroke or you will have mud again. All right. So I'm trying to get this where it's not glaring on you. So if you start on this crooked line and it's headed, what's closest to the tip of the leaf? The light green or the dark green? It's the dark green because all I have to do now is stand up. All right, so I don't have to turn and do anything. I don't have to do this. All right, so I'm at a crooked T. So I start here, pressure, and just stand up. And if I want it to be a longer, slender leaf, I just come longer. All right, and each time you just pull the stem into your leaf at the corner. All right. So I'm going to show you just a few little, all right, look at this. We're going in between, picking up more paint, working it in, and then pick up medium, work it in. Okay. So then I do a Y. All right. So this, what I'm doing here is I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then I see I'm back here a little bit on my brush. I'm scrubbing, 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 and I want to see a seashell. So 1, 2, 3, see my V? Okay, then I scrub, 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 scrub. I see my shell, and then I start standing up. So that standing up movement's that. All right, so I'm going to keep going like this and stand up, and then I pull the stem. Now, what I want you to see with this, all right, you might have watched me do this a ton of times, but something I do right now might make it click. And that's why I like to share how this happens. All right, so right here is the Y. And I want you to see, I'm going to get some white in there now. All right, so I can come right here. I want you to pretend there's a magnet. And see, I'm going to put this dark green this time right there. And I'm going to scrub back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I go out, back to the magnet, out, back, out, back. I say Outback Steakhouse. All right, then I come here and my eyes are looking at that outside edge, guys. Your eyes are looking at that edge. All right. So right here, I'm stand up to the point. All right. Now I'm going to come to this other side and I'm going to flip it and I'm going to push it 1, 2, 3. Now I'm putting the light there where the magnet is. So I just took this and moved straight over here. Okay. And I'm scrubbing and I'm staying in the middle. And then where are my eyes looking? Remember, my eyes are looking at the outside edge. And then I stand up, stand up. Then I pull a stem in the middle. So see, that gives it a whole different look also, right? All right, so I want you to see that I can put a little teeny bit of white and red on one edge and get a little bit of pink, a little bit more. All right, so I want you to see if I do a vine here and I up on the edge and I wave it really lightly. Remember what I'm doing? I'm lifting up the bottom. I'm lifting it up slightly and just dragging the last bristles. All right. All right. So now I can come along here and I got a little bit of medium because I want it to be kind of see-through. All right. I like to do these 1, 2, 3, and then pull the stem into those. So it's a little triangle of leaves. And I use all kinds of size brushes. I have the big brush right now, but I take it all the way down to a 2 flat and get smaller and smaller. It makes it really fun. All right. So I just want you to see that as I come in here, I would probably use a 12 to get this size. My eyes are looking at the outside edge of that leaf. All right, I pull the stem into the middle. All right. And I can just come in here and I just grab blues. I can add a few blue leaves in here. I did not clean my brush. So what that means is I'm going to get some greens in there too. You see that? All right, so I just went over here, grabbed my, oops, my blues. If you get a color you don't like, you just come here and wipe it off. All right, so I already had my greens right here. And so then I just took the dark green to the darker blue and then the light green. Okay. All right, isn't that kind of fun? And all I do is take my script liner. Where is it? I just put it here. There it is. I take my script liner. And this is a 2 script liner. You have to, this is the only brush I really use water with until I got these mop brushes. All right. So my finger, little finger, wherever my little finger goes, woo, look how that makes that long curl with a script liner. Now you can look right here on practice strokes, and I am for learning how to do tendrils or curly cues. I say it differently. All right, learn how to make those right here on another video. All right. So lastly, what I want to do, a lot of people that have a problem with using the flat brush, I'm going to use some angle brushes. They come in a set of 3. All right. So please look for my Facebook Lives because I do demonstrations and on Facebook Lives and do special deals for you. And to do that, though, you have to subscribe and ring the bell so that it'll tell you Donna's live and then it will remind you to go look. Okay. So look at this. I have angle brushes and I want to share with you that I decide what color I want to be on the tip. So I'm going to come right here and split this brush just like I did the flat brush. All right, and then over here, this is the key I need to make sure you understand that we split the brush to pick up color, and then we load the brush without splitting the brush. Okay. All right, then I still do medium to those. All right. Now this is what people do wrong with this brush. I'm going to tell you that first, is that you don't want to lay this brush, where's the paper? Oh, it's all the way over there. We don't want to go like this flat on this brush. See that flat edge? What we're trying to do is we're going to touch here, press down on the side and stand up. So really little leaves give you a perfect point because when you lift this every time, that tip makes a perfect point. And so you can also do really thin lines instead of using the script liner. This does not make a curly Q, but if I'm doing these vines, I need you to see that you're not making the vine by laying it down, then you'll make a branch. You're making it by just rolling on the tip, pulling it on the tip. So see, and it makes it very elegant, nice. And then look, I can just push lightly, and get a tip, tip, and pull. All right, so you can flip it bigger, bigger. All right. And every time you get that pretty little point, right? All right. So that is That is the smallest in the set. All right, then we have a medium one, and then we have a large one. So I just want you to see that if you're doing really big, oops, I got the dark on the tip. That's okay. All right, so I can come in here and do flower petals, like tulip leaves. I can do all kinds of things with this large brush, but it gives you a really nice point on the tip. All right, and you can also pull right in to these, okay? I also like you to see, I'll turn it over. I also like you to see that you can use this big edge, this heavier edge, whatever, the short edge. Oh, all right, so we have a toe, this points a toe, and that's the heel. I'm sorry, I should have told y'all that first. So you can push on the heel and use it to get strokes that you want at an angle coming down because the heel's stronger. Okay, but let me show you. You can't push on this toe and go up because it's not going to work well for you. Okay, so don't do that. If you want to pull and use this brush to do a full leaf, you've got to use the heel to make the stroke. Okay, so I can come right here. All right, and then you can still stand up and get a nice point. All right, so I also am going to show you about doing ribbons and different leaves. So let's do this. I'm going to also go again and put the point with a lighter color. Get some medium if you're doing this, the lilies and irises. We want a long leaf. We're going to come right here. We're going to start on a point. We're going to lay the brush down, stand to the point, lay it down, and lift. All right, let's do it again. Where we stand, pressure, pressure, stand, 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 and roll. All right. So these are iris and tulips and different kinds of leaves that have a long, slender. You notice I use the floating meaning for that. You can also come here, come up, and then come to the other side. I do this when I do calla lilies. Okay, with a little bit fancier leaf like that. I also want you to see that I could do two colors right here, back and forth, grab them in between, and then come here and work it in. I could even grab white, pick up white. There we go. Work it in, work it in, work it in. Okay. Now look at this ribbon here. I'm going to come right down here and I'm going to go left, stand up, right, stand up. All right, so that takes a little bit of practice, but you can make leaves that look like that too. So just let me show you one more time and you can come back and rewatch. Chisel, flat, chisel, flat, chisel, flat. See, I ran out because we need medium. If it gets dry, it's because you need medium. So practice this. You're up on the chisel, then you lay it flat. You stand up to the chisel. And this time, we are laying it on here the whole time. But usually I tell you not to lay it on this line because it's heavier. But for the ribbon, we do. All right. So is that kind of fun? I shouldn't have thrown the ribbon in there, but sometimes I can't help myself. Thank you very much for being on Practice Stroke today, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.